I saw something somewhat interesting that sparked a thought process that I saw on Twitter the other day, and this was coming from Charlie Intel, and they tweeted out, console players claim that PC gamers ruin the crossplay experience and want console-only lobbies. This means that basically in cross-platform console lobbies, it's Xbox and PS5s only. So I guess PlayStations and Xboxes only, no PCs whatsoever. And it made me think, how much advantage do PCs actually have over consoles, and would this actually work out? And of course, I play on PC now, and I have clear bias. So let me know what you guys think about the topics that I bring up in this video today in the comment section down below. And before Josh comments it on this video, we're drinking Dragon Fruit Punch, 10% off. Use code WILD. You guys already know. I want to talk about a couple things today. The clear advantages that PC has over consoles, mainly FOV and like just the overall graphic powers, the convenience that consoles have over PC, and then probably the biggest debate in PC versus console, which is keyboard versus mouse. We'll start off with the biggest and most obvious thing, which is the advantages that PC has over console. I saw a meme the other day on Instagram that I sent over to special service, and it was that moment PC players brag that their $3,000 PC can outperform a $500 console. It just makes sense. The more money means more power. But it's true, right? Consoles have always been beneath PCs in terms of graphic performance and just overall aesthetics of games, with ray tracing being extremely good looking on PC versus console. It's a no-brainer that PCs are going to have the best graphics. Also, this isn't really becoming an issue so much anymore, but it's more of an outdated issue, and this is FOV. And the reason that FOV is such a big advantage on PC is because you literally change the area that you can see on your PC. So you can see wider if you want to, where in console, you're stuck at 80 if you're playing a Call of Duty game. This means that players are going to be able to see more and react faster because they have higher refresh rate monitors or just higher refresh rate hardware in the first place, higher frames per second. They will have an upscaled advantage over consoles. That's just kind of given. I think most people know that by now, but there are some that don't. But a big advantage that a lot of players have in Warzone per se in the PC versus console area is Warzone players on PC can see so much more than console players. It's ridiculous. Console players are locked at that 80 FOV while PC players are at 120. I'll try to find some examples of 80 FOV versus 120 on Warzone, and there's a clear advantage that PC players have. And of course, there still isn't any FOV slider added to Warzone yet for consoles. However, on Cold War, there is an FOV slider, so console players can have that FOV advantage if they choose to do so. However, that will decrease their frames that they get. But that's another thing. Consoles only get 60 frames max. And I guess if you get the new generation, which is the Xbox One X or Series X and the PS5, you can go up to about 90, 120 FPS. So you'll just drop FPS there at kind of like mid-tier PC graphics. So PC will have the advantage graphically in almost every way, but slowly throughout time and the advancements that consoles are getting, FOV sliders are being added to those games. I think FOV sliders have been added into multiple games before Call of Duty did it with Cold War anyway. I think Battlefield 1 was the first game that I realized had an FOV slider for console. And realistically, FOV, not a huge deal. That advantage is going to fizzle out because consoles are going to start having the capability to run that. The thing that consoles have that PC players don't is the convenience of consoles. If you think about building a PC, there are so many components that go into it. You got your RAM, your GPU, CPU, motherboard, power supply. You're basically building adult Legos that are very expensive if you break a piece. And that's realistically what building a PC is. And it's hard to buy a lot of the high-end parts, not only with scalping and just what's going on in that market right now, but they do cost a lot more. To buy a high-end PC now, you're looking at upwards of like 5,000 Canadian dollars for some of the best. Now, you look at some GPUs nowadays and you can buy a 3090 at market price or market value for about 2 grand Canadian. That is worth you can buy 4 separate PS5s for the price of 1 graphics card. And that's just where the convenience of consoles lie. They're cheaper, easier to move, you don't have to build them, you just plug and play. Sure, they have lower graphic quality, but that just comes with the price of them being cheap. And consoles have always been cheap and most likely always will. So in the battle of cross-platform, sure, consoles have the convenience, PC has the power. That's just where things lie. Now, the biggest argument of all is KBAM versus controller, or I guess keyboard and mouse versus controller. This is the whole aim assist versus superior control. And here's where I come in with my personal experience. When cross-platform was introduced into gaming during the Fortnite days, I know, put your pitchforks and torches down. I did play Fortnite at a time. I think we all did, especially back in 2017, 2018. But when me and Dorito Thief and the boys that you guys see in the Discord server used to play Fortnite together, we all played on the PS4 and we would always be put up against PC players, and we were always able to hold our own and win games super easily. So we didn't notice a huge advantage that the PC had over us with their keyboard and mouse. Sure, we had a little bit of aim assist, but they had superior building skills. That's just how it worked. We kind of expected that, and we didn't find any issues of it. And even when Call of Duty introduced cross-platform play, when Modern Warfare launched in 2019, I mainly played on the PlayStation 4 before I played on PC. I didn't really start playing on PC until around Season 2, I would say, on the Modern Warfare 2019 game. So even then, when the PC players had the clear advantage of FOV sliders, I was still on PS4 and I had no issues whatsoever, or barely any noticeable issues where PCs were better than consoles at the time. So I didn't notice it then and still don't notice it now. And I guess I still don't notice an extreme difference now, because even though I am playing on PC now and I have those superior graphics at my disposability, I don't even think that's a word, but even though I have those graphics at my disposal, I still play on controller anyway, so I'm not noticing a drastic difference in using a keyboard and mouse, because I just don't use it in the first place. The only advantage that I have now on a PC versus a PS5 or a PS4 is literally just better graphics and a higher FOV. So that's just something that I've noticed. Now, I do understand that keyboards and mouse do have an advantage over controllers if you are a good player on KBAM. You just have that superior movement and that superior gun skill and gun control. Look at the really good players that have played CSGO for years and then all of a sudden pick up Call of Duty, and it's like shooting fish in a barrel for them. That's just the skill of keyboard and mouse. But as a console player who has just recently switched to PC within the last 2 years, who still uses controller on basically every game, minus like the odd time I'll play Minecraft or anything like that, I still don't notice a huge difference when I go against those players that are on keyboard and mouse that are obviously good. It might just be because I'm used to playing against good players with skill-based matchmaking and just years and years, almost like a decade plus of experience within the game. I'm not noticing a huge difference. So the whole argument of should consoles have their own console-only cross-platform play, I would say no. What should happen is for the cross-platform slider that consoles have that you can turn cross-platform on or off. Like for example, if you're on PS5, if you turn cross-platform off, you only play against other PS5s. What it should be by default is if you turn cross-platform off, it should be console only. But if you turn cross-platform on, then you introduce the PC players into the mix. And the thing is cross-platform is important for PC players, because until cross-platform was introduced into Call of Duty, PC Call of Duties died extremely fast and didn't have high player counts whatsoever, because majority of those COD players were on console. They were playing on their Xbox 360, their PS3, PS4, Xbox One, etc. And the PC players didn't have a lot of people to play against. But with cross-platform, it introduces a whole new player pool to keep the PC side alive. And yes, there is more people playing PC than ever because of cross-platform, and people just want that advantage or just have the hardware to have that slight advantage, regardless of if they're conscious of it or not. It just makes PC and the experience better. So I think what should happen is without cross-platform, if you turn it off, it's just console only just by default. So if you turn cross-platform on, then it introduces the PC players to the pool. And there's going to be enough people that turn their cross-platform and cross-play on where it won't cause an issue whatsoever. And with cross-platform, people on PC are going to be able to play with your friends on console. And if you have a friend that lives in like halfway across the world and they have an Xbox and you have a PC, you can play with them. And there's literally no downside to cross-platform in that sense. The only downside comes at the hardware's limitations of PC versus console and what graphic drivers they can run. What's the hardware inside? Basically, what's under the engine and what's under the hood of the device you're playing on, and that's really what dictates the advantage. Sure, aim assist on controller does help sometimes. However, aim assist on controller is not as powerful as people think. I've played Call of Duty on keyboard and mouse and controller over the past year, and I don't notice any huge advantages from either or. It literally just depends on how good of a player you are. If you're a weaker skilled player, you will definitely notice people on controller with aim assist a lot more, because if you're on keyboard and mouse and you're just not skilled with it like I am, you're going to notice that controller players have easier control. I think it's just common sense and logic that controllers are going to have better control than keyboard and mouse. However, if you master keyboard and mouse, you're just going to be superior over the controller players. It's just a matter of skill and luck at some extent. Anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions on should there be an option for console exclusive crossplay. I think they're just, if you turn crossplay off, console only, crossplay on, PC players are introduced to the mix. That's it. That solves the issue pretty much right away and doesn't cause any controversy later on in the future. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you guys did enjoy, dislike if you didn't. There's no hard feelings. Subscribe for more videos in the future. 10% off, code WILD. You guys already know. You guys have been loving this stuff anyway. And I'm about to head out, and if there is one, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.